There are as many ways to be a witch as there are witches, but one thorough line that runs through the history and the present of magical practice is that magic is a practice for the oppressed. It's a practice of people who have been rejected, cast off, or marginalized by society. As a Black woman, trauma has touched so many parts of my life. I first started to deepen my practice when I was coming out of an especially traumatic situation. In the aftermath of trauma, especially this really intimate trauma, you kind of feel like your whole world has exploded, that you don't have a way for understanding who you are or how you relate to the world around you. So my magical practice, my witchcraft, was a way of reorganizing the world around me, re-understanding who I was and how I could exist in the world. When I was kind of in the deepest pits of depression and struggling with anxiety, even though I knew that the right thing to do would be to get out of bed and take a shower, I just didn't feel like I deserved those things. But by giving myself a ritual, that transformed into, I have to get up and take a shower because there is a part of me that is holy, and that holy part deserves to be taken care of. So while talk therapy was very helpful to me, it was actually magic and ritualistic practice that helped me get to my therapist's office in the first place. Whether it's acute trauma or if it's the kind of trauma that exists when you exist in a body that society doesn't accept or doesn't value. I've found witchcraft very helpful because it's a practice that really centers my personal value. And in a world that keeps telling me that I don't have value, that's a really radical act. When I was a kid, my understanding of magic came from like kids shows, right? One of my strongest memories of seeing a witch on TV was like this old Scooby-Doo movie where, you know, the witches were like these cool punk rock girls. It's like Macbeth witches over some bubbling cauldron naked in the woods. And when I got older and actually started developing my own practice, I found that a lot of things that are magic were things that I was raised with, that I grew up with. My family is Ethiopian. My mom never would have called herself a witch, but there were a lot of beliefs in our household. Things like my mom telling me that she had clairvoyant visions, my mom laying hands when I was sick, using these folk remedies to heal the body, to take care of me. It wasn't until I got older that I started dabbling in magic on my own, and the first sort of official magic that I practiced was tarot. I picked up a tarot deck. I kind of got it just to like have something to play around with, and then I started doing readings and realizing, oh crap, like this is actually, you know, true is a really loaded word, but this is real, right? This is giving me something that I couldn't have gotten without using this particular tool. If you look deeply into any of the major religions, you will see a lot of things that look like magic. Prayer looks a lot like magic. Mass, as somebody who went to Catholic school, right? That looks a lot like magic. There's a lot of ritual that's involved. There's a lot of invocation. I think the difference between witchcraft and these major religions is who are the people who are the sources of power in those religions. Patriarchal institutions have survived and given themselves legitimacy by virtue of being sourced from men. Is this magical practice less rational or less scientifically founded than any of the major religions? No, but because it's historically been practiced by women, because it's historically been practiced by savage and uncivilized people of color, we somehow see it as more suspect than some of the also logically inconsistent rituals that exist in these major religions. I get asked all the time, especially on first dates, because it's in my Tinder bio, right? Like, do you really believe in this stuff? Do you really think it's real? I don't know if it's real, but what I can say is that magic has made my life better. Magic helps me manage my anxiety. Magic has helped me recover from trauma. Magic has helped me feel more beautiful, more kind, more compassionate, more like the person that I want to be. So for me and in my life, magic may not be real in this provable way, but it's true.